the popcorn, grab the Coke, and find that old VHS. We're diving deep in cheesy flicks. Yeah, we're on a vintage quest. Low reviews but high on laughs. Let's give these films a cheer. The cult classics, flops, and nuts. There are topics this year. We're the Ejectables, rolling back the years, celebrating movies that no one else cheers. From backhand juice to epic fails, we say it's all good. We're the Ejectables, yeah, we're misunderstood.
Welcome to the Ejectables. This is the show where movie enthusiasts Bill and Ian join forces with a weekly rotating guest to celebrate movies that we feel have been unjustly panned by the critics or sadly ignored and forgotten by audiences. This week's guest is the one and only Bill Vergos. Am I saying that right?
Bill Vergos, yep, correct.
He is known for being Media Players News recently named him one of the top indie film distribution power players of 2024. Will you earn it in 2025? We shall see.
That's the hope. That's the hope for sure.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And you've worked in the industry
Thank you.
for like 20 years plus.
Yeah, right out of college at Emerson. Emerson College, fellow Emerson College alum. Worked in the production side of the business up until about 2008, and then got into the distribution side. And I've been currently at the head of digital film distribution for Freestyle Digital Media, which is one of North America's leading independent film distributors. And it'll be 15 years this August that I've been with
Oh, congrats.
the company, which is fantastic.
Do you have a preference?
We distribute anywhere between 6 and 15 films a month.
Oh my God. And
Yeah, we distribute a lot of indie films.
Any that you're particularly excited about at the moment, or you're excited about them all?
I'm excited about them all. I'm excited about just the indie film industry as a whole for these next 5 years. I think it's a great time, much like the mid to late 70s and the mid to late 90s were for independent film, that I think it's primed for that to come back again. Because it's like, while the studios and streamers are duking it out to see what works, I think people are just like, look, we just want quality films again and good stories, and not just this IP of Marvel and all this same stuff regurgitated. So I think the next 5 years is going to be great. And there's a lot of great films that I saw earlier this year at Slam Dance and South by Southwest, and that we're targeting for distribution.
Awesome.
This year.
And do some of those end up on streaming services? Is that part of the aim, or is it more in theaters? What's the aim?
Yeah, that's part of the goal. I mean, it depends, obviously on the film and cast and genre. If we're going to go and select theaters or just straight to video on demand to rent or purchase the film, like on cable, satellite, Apple, Amazon, places like that. But we also license to all the major streamers like Netflix and Hulu, and all the major PayTV like HBO, Showtime, Stars. And then kind of the last stop on that, the film's journey is in the AVOD space. So watching the film for free with commercials on platforms like Tubi and Pluto and Roku and those outfits.
I find that with streaming services, and there's just so many different platforms to find movies nowadays, that so many great films fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
And have you found that with a film maybe you're even more passionate about that has gotten lost just because of that? Or is it your job to make sure they don't get lost?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's our job to make sure it doesn't get lost, but unfortunately, it's up to the streamers to highlight which films they want to. Like, we obviously speak with their marketing teams, but at the end of the day, they know what works for their audience, and unfortunately, their algorithm, which is a bummer, because again, like you mentioned, a lot of good films get lost because of that. So we do what we can to stand out from the rest of the pack. It's just very hard now because I hate the word content, but that's what they call it now, with film and TV and reality shows. So it's just harder nowadays for an indie film to stand out, but we do what we can to get it out there.
But like you said, people are seeking out stuff that isn't just the Marvel stuff. So
yeah, and I think again, the next 5 years coming up is going to be, a good boom for indie film in general.
All right. So shall we segue into talking about some big studio films?
Let's do it.
Speaking of indie films, today's episode is all Ron Howard movies.
That's right. I didn't even know that. And I'm jumping ahead here, but I accidentally chose a Star Wars movie on May the 4th, which is the day we are doing this. Just by chance.
There you go. Look at that. Worked out.
So, Bill, what movie would you suggest that people do not eject?
For myself, I think it's a Ron Howard film that's very underrated called The Paper, starring Michael Keaton, Marissa Tomei, Randy Quaid. I mean, it's an all-star cast of Who's Who, which came out in '94 after Ron directed Far and Away, which we know is not one of his biggest hits.
Yeah.
So almost like he decided to say, you know what, let me take a step back and do something smaller. And just take a breather before he went on to do I think Apollo 13 was next after The Paper, I believe.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
A small little movie with some
no names.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Got lost in the algorithm.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, we had no algorithm back then. Those were so why do you like this movie?
It's one of those movies that's, a rewatchable, what I like to call a remote dropper. Anytime that the film was on like HBO or like TBS or TNT, you could come in at any scene and you're just watching it. You're dropping the remote, you know all the lines, you know all the moments. And it's just such a fast-paced, fun film from start to finish. Like once it starts and you're in the world of the newspaper newsroom, it just goes and clips. And it's supposed to take place 24 hours in the day of newspaper reporters, which is fantastic. And it's just really funny too.
Are you generally a Ron Howard fan, or does this one for you stand out as one of his best?
I'm generally a Ron Howard fan. But mostly 80s Ron Howard and like 90s Ron Howard. After that, I kind of just, I was like, some of his films have been okay, but I love Night Shift. I love a film that Bill does not like, which I recently found out, Ransom, which is, I think, a fantastic thriller with Mel Gibson. He can jump all over the place and Cocoon, and he's got some solid ones in there. But I will have to admit, the one film I've never seen of Ron Howard's, and I don't know why, because I was the right age to see this movie, was Willow. I've never seen Willow.
It's hugely disappointing. I remember being excited to see it. I was like, oh.
Right.
It was made for little kids, I think, and I was just like, oh, it's not cool. But
yeah, and I guess you could kind of say that was his first foray into like a Star Wars universe type film.
Yeah, with Lucas.
Since it was George Lucas, yeah.
Yeah. So I would say the paper
that's the one I haven't
better
seen.
Than the paper stand.
I would hope so. But I think it's a great movie.
I saw this at the theater when it came out, and I remember really liking it. Rewatching it, I really love the first half. I think is great. When they're in the office, I think it is so good. But the second half, they kind of get out of the office, and near the end, I think it's still a really good movie. I think it's a great choice, but I think they just push it a little too far. There's like this fight, and then there's this other fight with a gun, and then babies are made. Someone gets shot in the foot. It just gets a little too much. Like they didn't trust the story of the two kids that are being framed for this murder.
Right.
And I think we could have leaned more into that, which I thought was more grounded and interesting, which the first half focuses on with enough humor. But I think it loses something in the end. It could have been great, but I think it's just good.
I think we have a clip.
Oh, we do. You want me to do it?
Ooh, yeah.
Nice.
I'm going to do it. If I can find it. There's a lot of pictures. Here goes The Paper.
I better see the $600 in my paycheck.
I can't think about this now. Let me give
You and Dave once has been pulling the same shit. Sit on the bus. It's a bunch of bullshit. What are you Christ!
Let Marty talk.
talk to her husband. Please.
Cops. Maybe I can type up some fucking weather reports. I every one I'm at it too.
Just call the cops.
Just call the cops.
You two, take your time. I'm on the Sedona thing.
God, I miss this place.
She's so good in this.
And that's my favorite scene from the film, by the way. That is, I mean, it's just a cast of characters, even just before that, when everybody's coming in, driving Michael Keaton's character, Henry, crazy, and just the frenetic, like, nuttiness of being at a newspaper. And it actually, it was something after seeing the film, I was like, wow, it'd be great to work in a place like that. Because every day it's something new. You're chasing the headline and the deadline of everything, and that's what I love about it. And it's just and Randy Quaid's just I feel like that's how he is in real life too. So
Yeah,
it's
it's really weird to see him. It's really weird to see him go on stay alone.
I love that callback in there that she has when she pees herself sitting on the couch when she sneezes. It's just it's so subtle, but it's good. It's such a those scenes are the first half is a lot of that. There's this great line.
Yeah.
Donald Trump jumped right off a building and landed right on Madonna. That's a good line.
And they all went to
you
Elaine.
wish.
I wish. I'm willing to sacrifice Madonna for this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I think
send your hate mail to Ian, please.
Yeah, I'll take it.
and I love the two, the morning meeting and the afternoon meeting scenes, because you get everybody in there of even what's the actor's name now from the Cosby Show.
Who worked at Trader Joe's.
Owen, something.
Jeffrey Owens.
Yeah.
He's great in there. You have so many great character actors, from the sports writers to the world editor, and all of them pitching their stories in the morning, and then by the afternoon meeting see how all those stories have changed and what's going to make it into the paper and what's not going to, while Henry's chasing the front page, the big news for the day. Those are great scenes too.
And that one woman, or the young woman, trying to get the photo of the two suspects being led to it's such a great scene. And then when she's looking at the pictures, trying to, I got one. It's so good.
Yeah. And he purposely sent her because he knew she wouldn't get the photo.
You blow it. Yeah.
To blow the story. So, which was perfect. But it all ended up working out, which was great.
This is a great pick. Bill, what'd you think?
It's one of my favorite movies of the 90s. It's quite possibly the best Ron Howard movie next to Backdraft. My favorite part about this is the famous line that Glenn Close says, and I hope it's not a spoiler, but whatever, where he goes, "You are so fucking fired." And now this is a famous Hollywood lore statement.
Oh yeah,
that Roseanne Barr on the set, she had a sitcom in the 90s. And she was notoriously insane. And she would have 2 rooms of 18 people. People would get fired all the time and stuff like that. And around the early 90s is when all these Harvard and Ivy League people realized they could make money writing for sitcoms and not go to Harvard. I mean, not go to Wall Street or something like that. And so there was a young writer, female writer, and there was a speech that Jackie does on the show Roseanne, and she equated it to a Shakespeare, a soliloquy from a Shakespeare play. And Roseanne turned to her in the middle of the table read and said, "You are fucking fired." And so,
cool.
Besides Who Jackie, those are the 2 most famous parts of working on the Roseanne show. It's one of the best movies of the 90s. It's awesome. David Koepp wrote it with his brother. I love the fact that it's a New York Post and they're making fun of the New York Times. Spalding Gray is unbelievable. Yeah. And Michael Keaton has never been better. He wasn't over the top, but you believed every outburst he had. I wish he made more movies like this. This Parenthood, Ransom. It's all good. Ed TV.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, yeah, I think I agree with you. Definitely, it's like Keaton's like best role. It's like everything like kind of led up to this from his characters in Bill Blazkowski and Night Shift, to then going to a little bit of Bruce Wayne and Batman. And when he gets a little crazy, like he's just, I can't picture anybody else in this role. I don't know if they ever offered it to anybody else, but
Oh,
like he is just so perfect for this movie.
I forget who they did offer to, but yeah, I think I agree. This is one of Ron Howard's best films because I think after this, he started to get a little more generic and they're all just so safe. And this just has a spontaneity to it, which you don't see in much of his work. It's fun.
Yeah, it was because what I think the story goes is that after Far and Away, he wanted to do a film about a newspaper and he talked to Spielberg and Spielberg said, "Hey, you should talk to David Kapp." And it turned out David was already writing this story.
Oh, wow.
Brother. And Ron Howard was like, "Oh my God, this is perfect then." So, and I guess the character of Alicia Clark, played by Glenn Close, who is Michael Keaton's boss, is the main editor, was supposed to be a male in the original script, and they changed it to a female because they felt that the story overall was too male centric. Now, whether that was, basically what those newsrooms looked like in the day, it might have been, but that's like kind of the only big change they made in the script from what I heard.
And how great is Robert Duvall? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Greatest living actor ever.
Amazing in the film. He's great.
Yeah. Yeah, she was amazing in it. She was so good. She
Yeah.
could do comedy, I know that she was so good in Hillbilly Elegy, which is Ian's favorite movie.
Love it. And Garp. She's funny in Garp too.
And what?
In Garp, The World According to Garp.
According to Garp. Yeah.
Come on.
She's great in that.
It's 40 years. It's like 60 years ago.
But this is only 10 years before this movie.
No, it's not, is it? Yeah, I guess
That's like 1980. Yeah, it's like
82, 81. When did that?
Yeah, it's in there.
It doesn't feel that dated. It doesn't feel that dated, except for the payphones.
Oh, the paper?
Yeah. The Coke machines, I guess now
Yeah.
you would have.
Yeah, that's the only thing is we would have cell phones now, and you'd have bigger communication.
But
yeah, that's true.
Otherwise, it feels very on target, Yeah. And Ron Howard grew up in Burbank, and then I guess he moved to Connecticut, but he seemed like a New Yorker in this movie. It's crazy. Like you would have thought Scorsese shot it.
Is he my neighbor?
He lives in Greenwich. Is it?
It's like an hour from me, but
yeah,
a little more expensive over there.
So Ian, what was your pick?
My pick is one of the finest films of all time. Solo, a Star Wars story. Now, Ron Howard took this over after these co-directors were making it. I think they were making it too funny, and Lawrence Kasdan and Kathleen Kennedy were like, "Whoa, this is not what we want." Kasdan's like, "Stick to the script." And so Howard came in. He was kind of apprehensive to do it, but he jumped in and reshot 80% of the movie that these guys had done. And I think it's one of my favorite Star Wars movies.
Wait, he reshot the movie? I thought they just fired them. I didn't know he reshot stuff.
He reshot 80% of the work that they had done.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because it's like, I think they had started shooting in February and then they got rid of them, I think, in May. It was almost like a 4 or 5 month shoot, which is crazy because now I'm like, do you constitute this as a Ron Howard film though? Yes, he directed it, but he came in not having any input with the script. He just came in to fulfill, let's get this done. But he did reshoot, 70% of the film. And they actually recast, what was it? The role that Paul Bettany is in was actually someone else who I think it was like Michael K. Williams, I think it was, who couldn't come back for reshoots.
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wow.
So it's interesting, like, do you constitute it as Ron Howard or it's just, he just came in to fulfill and, shoot what they wanted, basically.
I was hesitant to see it because it's Ron Howard. I was like, but then I'm thinking maybe I enjoyed it more because part of it wasn't Ron Howard. I don't know.
My favorite quote about how Kathleen Kennedy, the president of Lucasfilm, she hated Lord Miller right from the start. She even hated their socks.
Wow, that's a lot of hate.
I know. I was like, what do you have to do? I mean, the Lego movie was such a phenomenon. Like, what? Like, I can't believe that they got fired. You know, they're so talented. I just don't know what could have happened.
That was the movie before this?
Yeah, that's how they
Oh,
got
okay.
it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. I mean,
That's how they got
70% of the film is a lot. It's not like, because, like, what,
Yeah.
Back to the Future was maybe how much percentage with Eric Stoltz
It
before
was
they
like
got
4
rid of
weeks
him?
or 5 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is like 4 months. So you've got to wonder, like, what did that, look
The
like?
investment? Woof.
Yeah, I mean, that's just wild to me. Is how bad could the film have been? You let it go on for that long,
They-
which is
They
pretty
said they
amazing.
had to edit. They said they had to edit around the guy who played Han Solo, and he's such a good actor. I was like, wait, like,
Yeah, I enjoyed him in it. I thought he was
Yeah, me
great in the
too.
role.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just a good old fashioned. They're not trying to get. It's like the first movie. They don't mention the Jedi. It doesn't get caught up in the lore and the politics. That gets really boring for me in some of those Star Wars movies. It's just about fun and adventure, and I think it's just really well done. It looks great. Let's see a clip.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna go clip. Solo.
Your empire needs you! Troopers forward! Solo, get up! We're almost there! Almost where? Where are we going? Just over that last ridge! Victory is... My leg! Ah! My leg!
I mean, how cool does that look? I don't know. I just think it looks great. I think it's just old fashioned, good time. So you liked it, Bill? Which Bill wants to go first?
It's Bill V. He's the guest.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, I hadn't seen it since I first saw it in the theater.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a film where I was like, for me to get me back into the theater a second time, it has to be really good. Like, I already had my second viewing of Sinners last week and probably go see it again. But I have to say, rewatching this movie, I really enjoyed it because it's basically, obviously, it's an origin story first and foremost, but it's a heist film. It's, a ragtag of bandits going to steal, shipments of, I forgot what it was called, to like kind of, either for the hyper speed or whatever it was for. But, just the little things like how Han got his last name because he showed up solo.
It's really simple.
Yeah, so there's a lot of fun in it and a lot of, early kind of what, Harrison Ford brought to the role. But it was fun. I mean, the train sequence, that first heist where they try to steal, I mean, it's a great action movie too.
Exactly.
So the only thing I didn't quite get is how he understood how Chewie spoke. Because when they first meet, he starts speaking like Chewie, and I'm like, where the hell did he learn this?
It's a little silly. Yeah, it's a little silly.
Yeah, that was a little bit like, okay. But
Yeah.
otherwise
But I
it is
love
an obvious, it was good. And obviously the introduction of Lando, it was played brilliantly. He's amazing in that film.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll get a standalone movie too.
Yeah, I want them to make another one of these, but
Yeah.
what did you think, other Bill?
I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan. I like the first three, and I love Rogue One. I saw this twice in the theater. I was shocked by how good it was. I mean, it looks beautiful. He's great. I don't know why he was so maligned, this poor kid. It's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was someone that, like, some agent whose client was up for it, and he was just shuffling bad stuff to the press, I don't know if it's a Ron Howard movie, under the circumstances. I know Lawrence Kasdan and his son wrote it. And so it's definitely one of the better ones, It's not as good as Rogue One, but it's up. It's the second.
Totally agree.
Yeah, Rogue One, that I actually did see 3 times in the theater because I thought it was just, it was the perfect movie. It was a very tight film and obviously leading into A New Hope. But I would love to see Lord Miller's version of this movie just to see what the heck, what was so bad about it from the executive standpoint.
I don't think we're gonna see it ever.
I mean, how
it's
much
a
of it?
shame.
How much of their version is in the movie? You know, like
Yeah, I wonder. Well, I think that maybe the scenes that seem maybe slightly more comedic are those scenes potentially, the ones they kept.
I
don't
mean,
know.
they're so talented. I just don't get it. Like, I just don't
Yeah.
get it, you know. Maybe they didn't kiss the ring. I know she's maligned. She's a really nice person. My sister has met her and Frank Marshall, so I don't get the hate towards her. But yeah,
Did they go on to do anything else after this? I should have looked into that, but
a million things. Yeah, they're the most famous.
so it didn't. No, I mean the directors.
Yes, yeah, they
Okay,
did.
so it did not destroy them. Good.
Yeah, they have like 6 Lego movies and stuff like that. Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, so they're not poor.
they're worth. Yeah, they're worth $1 billion.
Oh, good. Good for
Yeah.
them. Yay!
They
Happy
live.
ending.
They don't live in Connecticut with Ian.
Yeah.
We're not worried about them. They're doing okay.
Yeah, they have like $1
That
billion.
way.
Woo!
They have like 7 produced directorial movies and like 20 TV shows.
Okay. All right. I don't need to bail them out.
No.
So, Bill, what movie did you do this week?
I picked from the 1980s Gung Ho, directed by Ron Howard, and written by Lowell Gans and Babalu Mandel. It stars Michael Keaton, Mimi Rogers, and a plethora of other people. George Wentz in it. And it's about a small town in Pennsylvania. The auto plant has closed, and so they beg a Japanese car manufacturing plant to come take it over. And what we have is a funny battle of the cultures. People that believe in American exceptionalism and people that believe in the stringent rules of Japan company business. I saw it in 1985 as a kid. I was like, oh, this is a little too mature for me. I love it now.
Still is.
I was worried that if it's going to be racist, then you can't, you know, like I thought it was going to be really inappropriate. But what I really loved about it is making fun of Americans who are just pig-headed and can't really adapt to the new world order. I do have a clip. Let me play a clip for you guys.
You got it?
Yeah.
Do not be influenced by the fact that we are going to give you your first executive position with a very big raise in pay.
No. Why would I? No, I won't be influenced by that. This is great.
Assuming, of course, that the factory does open.
Right. Well, I already assumed that.
We did not. Can we count on you?
Fellas. The frog's ass watertight.
Watertight one man. Yes, we believe it is.
You know, it came out during the time of fears of like Japan taking over. I'm a big Michael Crichton fan. I do love Rising Sun, the book, not the movie and stuff like that. And I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful movie. So well shot by Don Peterman. It's like so beautifully shot. It's one of Ron Howard's best shot movies, even better looking than Cocoon. I wonder if he shot Cocoon as well. It did not do well. I'm sure it's lambasted now, but what'd you guys think? Bill?
I mean, it's one of my favorites from the '80s. I don't think I saw it in the theater. I think it was when it was like on a heavy rotation on HBO as a kid. But you know, just loved it. I mean, it's got a great soundtrack. I mean, you've got Chrissy Hine, the Fabulous Thunderbirds, Jimmy Barnes, all great music in it. And of course, obviously, you know, you've got George Wendt, Norm from Cheers at his high point. But yeah, I mean, I just remember myself and my cousins watching this all the time on HBO and just laughing our asses off. It's a little more obviously skews older, but I think as a kid, there's just so many like funny moments, especially with what is it? Is it Getty Watanabe? Who is also Long Duck Dong in say 16 Candles. No. It's just I think for me though, and a little bit towards the middle to end, it kind of just takes a little like a low like downer tone a little bit, especially after the George Wentz character, like he's racist and mean to everyone. So there are some moments that just aren't as fun as the rest of the movie all the way through. But I do love it. It is a favorite of mine for sure.
It's a movie I never saw in the 80s. It was there, but I was like, I don't really care to see a movie about car manufacturing. So I never watched it back then.
They shot it in Argentina, I think. Isn't that crazy? The car manufacturing thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And the rest in Pennsylvania, I guess. So I went in this time watching it, and I was a little apprehensive because I thought maybe the Japanese would be the punchline of all the jokes. But I'm happy to say that the broad stereotypes are on both sides. And I think there are some nuanced performances from Gide Watanabe. I can't say his name.
Yeah.
I think he's great in this. And I know from my Asian American friends, the role in 16 Candles, he gets a lot of flack for. And of course, he took a job that he got and he was good in that role. But so I was afraid, are we going to get some of that here? And I think this film is fine. It's good. It's cute. It's warm. I think Ron Howard has a warmth that he brings to his films, and that shows here. I think it's somewhat predictable. It has all the beats of a normal script, but I think it's a nice movie. It's not slight, Bill, but I enjoyed it enough. I think there's some good stuff.
Ian is clinically depressed and doesn't like any comedies.
No, it's cute. There's some funny stuff, and I like that the Japanese characters and the Americans, they basically share half the film. Like it's not like the Americans. It's really a shared story. So I think it's a good little gem.
Has one of the best end lines in film history of I like you, you make me laugh.
Oh yeah. The car, I didn't get that. The car falls apart, and then they're like,
right.
Go ahead and do it. Can you explain that to me? But
because he sees them working as a team, so he finally became a manager.
Oh, okay.
Did you watch the movie? Were you on your phone the whole time?
No.
He was being doing other things.
He finally became manager because he has a team that's cohesive.
I don't even own a phone.
Okay. You didn't understand that?
No, it just seemed. I mean, I guess I was trying to bring some realism to it, and that the two don't go together. All right. I'm being. It's an 80s movie. Yeah. No, it's better than Slight. It's cute.
Has some funniest jokes ever. It's so funny. Oh my god. It's like my grandfather was here in 1940. Forget it.
I love that when he's in the conference room, because that's a joke I didn't get as a kid, and then when you rewatch it, you're like, this is brilliant. And it's like, and this is another role that Keaton, I'm like, I can't picture anybody else in this, and I guess they offered it to Bill Murray and Eddie Murphy first before casting Keaton, which so I don't know. He's just so perfect. Eddie Murphy would have been a totally different movie. And I don't even know if it's one that we can even watch today, because I think it would have been, just one, shifting to both sides. It would have been one way all the way. And that,
Yeah, Keaton's great in this.
Yeah. He's amazing.
I thought he was better as Solo, though. He was really good in
Solo. Yeah.
Yeah, Keaton was really good as him. So should we go to where to find these movies?
Yeah.
So you can find Solo on Disney Plus and 4K Blu-ray. You can find The Paper. You can rent it on iTunes and Prime, or you can find a Blu-ray of it. And Gung-Ho you can get on MGM Plus, and also you can find it on Blu-ray.
Awesome. So now we come to the point of the show, Bill, where you have to pick a movie you like best this week, but you can't pick your own.
Out of the three?
Yeah.
But not your own.
Oh, Gung-Ho all the way.
What?
Gung Ho
Yeah.
all the way. It's a
We're not
classic.
friends anymore,
I
Bill
love that
B.
movie. Sorry, my friend. I love that. I love that movie. It's you can't go wrong with Michael Keaton.
Which is the reason I'm going to go with The Paper, because it's on the verge of being a great movie, but it's worth seeing for what is great.
It is a great movie. You're crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm going with The Paper as well. So, Bill,
Woo!
you
Yeah.
get the Employee of the Month.
All
acclaimed for
right.
astounding
Speaking of Eddie Murphy,
Congratulations.
and I'm going to have a Coke with that.
How many Cokes
Here.
do you think he drinks in The Paper? I say at least 10.
I don't know. He's always searching for quarters though to get out of the Coke machine, and they run out of Cokes at one point. So
How
he's
does he
had to at
not have
least have like
diabetes?
6 or 7 in a day.
How does he not have diabetes? That's what I want to know.
The film's actually sponsored by Pepsi, I read, which it was strange. Thank
Nice.
you, Bill Vergos, for joining the show.
Thank you
everyone,
guys for having me.
Look for his films that are coming out.
Freestyle Media.
FreestyleDigitalMedia.tv is our website where you can see all of our films and where they're available at.
Oh, great. Okay. Well,
Awesome.
thank you, Bill.
Awesome.
You better come back another time.
Definitely would love to. If you guys ever do some Chicago movies, I'm in on that for sure.
I know, but what's an ejectable of a Chicago movie that Chain
Blues
Reaction?
Brothers.
No, that's it.
Risky
Some
Business.
people would think it's not though. Risky Business is a good one.
That was
Code
a
of
big hit.
Silence. Code of Silence, the
There you
best
go.
Chuck Norris movie,
Oh, that was the
directed
best Chuck Norris.
directed
Oh, I
by
got it.
Andy Davis, who did The Fugitive.
Only the Lonely, not a hit. There you go.
Only the Lonely is a good one as well.
Yeah.
Mercury Rising with Bruce Willis.
Home Alone.
I never saw that. It's hard to find.
No one knows that movie.
Nobody knows that
Those
movie.
big.
Awesome. All right. Thanks, guys, for watching. Please
Yeah,
like and
awesome.
subscribe.
Pop the popcorn, grab a Coke, and find that old VHS. We're diving deep in cheesy flicks. Yeah, we're on a vintage quest. Low reviews but high on laughs. Let's give these films a cheer. The cult classics, flops, and nuts. There are topics this year. We're the Ejectables, rolling back the years, celebrating movies that no one else cheers. From backhand juice to epic fails, we say it's all good. We're the Ejectables, yeah, we're misunderstood.